The War of the Roses Part 5, the Lancastrians the Red Rose sow. In 1399, as a result of a palace coup, the Plantagenets were overthrown, and their cadet branch, the Lancastrians, came to power. The first Lancastrian on the throne was Henry IV Bolingbroke. The Lancastrians traced their lineage back to King Edward III's son, John of Gaunt, the father of Henry IV. The symbol of the house is considered to be the damask red rose. According to a popular legend, it was chosen by John of Gaunt, who saw the flower during his stay in France. Nevertheless, the rose does not appear in the dynasty's coat of arms. Most likely, the Lancastrians appropriated this symbol in opposition to their rivals, the Yorkists. The era of the Lancastrians saw the end of the 100 Years' War with France, which ended in defeat for England. The unsuccessful conflict with France was the cause of strong discontent with King Henry VI. Lacking in independence and falling under the influence of powerful feudal lords, he was unpopular with the people. Thus, in 1450, the Kentish rebellion of Jack Cade took place, who even managed to temporarily capture London. The rivalry of influential dukes at his court, together with the huge influence that his wife, Margaret of Anjou, exerted on the king, were partly the cause of the uprising of Richard of York, which led to the Long War of the Roses. In the early years of the conflict, the king was removed from power, then reinstated on the throne, without the participation of the influential aristocrat Richard Neville. However, the monarch soon found himself a prisoner of the Yorkists. He died in the Tower under unclear circumstances. With the death of Henry VI, the Lancastrian dynasty became extinct. The Yorks the White Rose. The Yorks traced their paternal lineage back to Edmund of Langley, the fifth son of Edward III, and their maternal lineage to Lionel of Antwerp, the third son of Edward III. In 1399, Henry IV, who had ascended the throne through a coup and feared other claimants, established strict control over Edmund Mortimer, the great-grandson of Lionel. The association of the White Rose as the dynastic symbol is linked to Edmund of Langley. This version has a clear religious connotation relating to innocence and purity. It is known that from the very beginning of the war, the Yorks used this symbol, which led the Lancastrians to adopt the red rose as their distinguishing emblem during the conflict. During the reign of Henry VI, Richard of York, the nephew of Edmund, was one of the most powerful English feudal lords. He commanded the English forces on the continent during the 100 Years' War and was the regent for the king in 1454. Richard was in fierce competition with Henry's wife, Margaret of Anjou. This enmity resulted in Richard's exile from the Royal Council 1455, which in turn led him to openly challenge this unjust decision and eventually assert his claim to the throne. The Yorks were able to become kings of England, albeit for a relatively short period. In 1461, the son of Richard of York, who became Edward IV, overthrew the Lancastrians. His wife, Elizabeth Woodville, played a significant role at the court. It seemed that the Yorks had firmly established themselves on the throne, but their position was undermined by the actions of the Duke of Gloucester, Richard, who deposed Edward's son and killed the children of Elizabeth Woodville and Edward IV. Elizabeth supported the claim to the throne of Henry V. Tudor, who invaded England and defeated Richard III. The new monarch married Elizabeth of York, the daughter of Edward IV and Elizabeth Woodville. Woodville retained the honourable title of Queen Dowager until the end of her life. Continued in the next part. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment if you'd like.